talk about something that people don't talk about enough or aloud. The moment that intimacy turns cold, you start to wonder, well, what has changed? What have I done? Am I not desirable enough? And you feel the rejection. You feel rejected by this person. And it's the most cruelest thing that somebody can do. And most probably the effects last throughout this relationship, if not longer. Why the narcissist stops having sex with you. Hello, my friends. I hope that you're all doing really well. Wanted to talk about such an intricate, intimate topic that I know that I've discussed this quite some times on this channel. I think what I need to do is actually do a playlist of actually this, because it is something that I feel like many people don't really talk about, but I really want to talk about the psychological aspects of why this is happening and what this actually represents. In this video, I want to talk about sex being used as control. This is about punishment, power, and control. I also want to talk about the ego and the supply cycle, and I want to talk about the psychological impact that it has on you and about how you are going to be able to reclaim your power. Okay, so let's get into it. So sex in these type of circumstances is 100% used as control. And you're probably thinking, how is this used as control? I'm going to explain it here. A narcissist isn't about emotional connection, because this is where the issue lies in this disorder. It's about the interpersonal relationship that you have with this person, the connection, the bond, the union. This is where the issue lies. This is like the bottom line of this disorder. So this is where you have to understand that you're not going to have a true connection with this person. But you're probably thinking, how, Anushka? Like, you know, we were amazing right at the beginning. Yes, that is the thing. Of course you were amazing right at the beginning, because that's exactly what that person does. They mirror you. They mirror back to you what you think the version of them you want to see. So this is why it feels like you're drawn to them, like you are magnetized to them, like you can't let them go. Like they put you on this pedestal, they give you so much attention, so much energy, and this feels exhilarating because for once in your life you realize that someone actually sees you. Someone thinks, yeah, like I want you. And it is this grand gesture. It is addictive. My friends, I know how this feels. It feels absolutely amazing when they're flooding you with affection and that attention. But here's the thing, once they have secured that attachment, this is when they pull back. So what has happened here now is they have made a sexual imprint on you. That is what is happening. Okay, and so this is why the intimacy with this person feels magnetic. It is like literally beyond anything that you have imagined. Okay, the problem here is that it's not consistent. And so you see, you get addicted to this, you become wanting it, because in your mind, right, we form schemas of people, meaning we form impressions of people. This is why I'm talking about the imprint, the impressions. Okay, so this person has made an impression, aka an imprint on you. So in your mind, you have thought of this person in this way. Okay, so this is the beginnings of the trauma bond that you will suffer later. So you think this person is amazing, they're your soulmate, you're magnetized to them, this feeling of being put on this pedestal, okay, this attention, this validation that you are getting from this person. This is exactly where we are with this, okay? This is exactly what is going on here. You formed an impression that that person is like that. Now, when this is taken away from you, this leaves you startled, upset, depressed, wondering why. This also happens with intimacy. It's amazing at the beginning. Then once they've got you, because if you think about the timeline and where this happens, this is exactly what is happening. And then they remove it. So this is where they then decide when they are going to be intimate with you. Okay, and this is where the control comes in. Okay, so they control how many times and when you both are going to be intimate. Now they know that you crave this. They know that you want this from them. So this is what they do. They take it away. So then they know they've got you. you're wanting something from them. So you're not likely to leave. You're not likely to go elsewhere. You're likely to be hooked on them. This is the push and pull dynamic. This is, if you really think about it, this is the trauma bonds. This is old psychology. Okay, this is what every dictatorship, if we want to look at it, every dictatorship has used. You give someone something that they want, you gain their trust, and then you take it away, and that person then remains dependent on you, and you can do whatever you want with that person. That is how human psychology works, and that's what they have done, because they know it's powerful, they know it works, they know you want them, you're not going to leave. So they're the ones that are in control, that how much access they give you to them. Let's look at punishment, power, and control. It's a punishment that they stop having sex with you. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you've set a boundary, maybe you've said something, maybe you have not behaved or done something that they have wanted you to do that. So they retaliate, not with words, but with their actions. They know physical intimacy is powerful. They know that you want it, that you desire them, and these are the building blocks of a relationship. This is what you do when you bond with someone, when you really fancy someone, when you desire someone. You know, sex is an expression of how much you really like that person. So over time in a relationship, it just gets better and better and stronger because the connection and the union and the bond with that person becomes stronger. So that's why it is a very, very powerful. There's also spiritual elements to sexual union as well. Sex, if you also want to look at it in a spiritual way, sex actually means sacred energy exchange. And so what you're also doing is you're exchanging energy with that person. You've also got to think that this person is siphoning your energy during sex, because you're becoming one union. You're becoming one energetic field. So this person knows that. Sex really only serves them. So it's used as a form of control, form of punishment, but it's also recharging their batteries as well. I'm going to talk more about this on my Patreon membership, because I can't really do that here. So if you want to kind of look at how sex and sacred union and how they use this in a more kind of sinister way, check out my Patreon mentorship, because I do put out content there. And I do put out videos there that are not seen here on YouTube, things that I can't really talk about in these videos, but I do kind of put them out there. So please do check out my Patreon mentorship, which details are in the description box below. The ego and the supply cycle. To the narcissist, your body was never about you. It was about validation. In the beginning, you were new supply. You were someone new, you're a new toy. We're talking about objectification here, okay? We're talking about objectification. So your body, you are used as an object. They don't see you as a person, your personality, what you've got to give, but it's more about a tool. So it's about your energy, maybe even the way that your body looks, and about what you can give them, what you can supply them. Because ultimately, if you really think about it, narcissist doesn't want to be alone. So they are going to kind of have or use anyone that they can that makes them feel good about themselves, that causes them to think that they are good. That basically someone who validates them a lot. And I think that's what you have done. Also, intimacy, sex, there's no depth there. There's no connection there between you and that person. It's ultimately a tool to kind of pleasure them, but also they know that they're getting your life force energy. It's about, and you're a new mirror, you're a new fantasy, you're someone new, you're someone great. Like, so basically all what's happening here, it is feeding their ego. Also, if you are someone of significance, like you've got power, you've got money, you're validating them, you're making them feel amazing. Again, that's making them feel good about themselves. And so that's why they objectify you. They literally don't see like the wonderful parts of you. They just literally reduce you to a tool, a prop, something that makes them feel good, particularly in the beginning. But as time goes on and the relationship continues, that's where that separation basically comes, because you become harder to manage. You're going to start wanting needs, and you've got wants, you've got desires that the narcissist is not interested in. They're only interested in themselves. So when they withdraw, when they pull back, when they stop having sex with you, they're seeking validation elsewhere. They're looking for that elsewhere. You're no longer being that tool, that prop that's serving them. Because of course, the energy right at the beginning of a relationship is going to be different to when it is, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line. It's going to be completely different. And, for some people, because, you get comfortable, the energy isn't going to be there. It's going to be more like you're comfortable with one another. You don't have to make these grand gestures. But the narcissist wants that. The narcissist wants that excitement, that thrill, that validation that the relationship used to provide them right at the beginning. They might even be idealizing someone new. And I know this is really difficult, and I know this is really heartbreaking that somebody would do that. Like, that really is what is going on. But you see, that's exactly what they are doing. Not in all cases. Sometimes, I would say about 60% of the time, this is what is happening. They could also be testing your reaction to see how you will behave, whether they still control your emotions, whether they still own you emotionally, energetically, psychologically. This is another aspect of it, to see whether you're still hooked on them, whether you're still going to ask and want their validation. It's not always about physical desire. It's about power dynamics and how this relationship plays out going forward. The withdrawal becomes a test. You beg for closeness. You chase them even harder, and then you start to blame yourself. And that's how this dynamic goes. That's ultimately what is happening in this. And this is where you become upset, wanting them, trying to understand what is going on. But of course, the narcissist is never going to be able to explain it like this. They're never going to tell you in this way that, oh, hey, you know what, I'm just testing you. I'm just testing to see if you love me and want me. Because they don't like boundaries. They don't like being told a certain thing. So when you do that, that's when they become annoyed, upset, and that's when they're withdrawing. But they're never going to be able to tell you that, because that requires emotional openness, and a narcissist is not going to do that. The reason why they're not going to do that is because they will then be considered vulnerable, and they are never wanting to be vulnerable in front of you. They do not want that. They're never going to show you that. And that is the issue. This isn't a relationship where you can build, whether you can become something together and unite. This is about being separate. Them, you worship them. That's how it is. That's how they think relationships should go. You are there to serve them. So how can this relationship work? How can this go forward? How can this be anything more than just that? It can't. And that's the point, my friends. So this all has a psychological impact on you. You feel that you are not good enough. You feel that you don't look attractive enough. This all affects your ego, your self-worth, and that you're not worthy of love. Because if someone that you love, someone that you thought loved you back, is going to behave in this way and treat you like this, you think that you are not good enough. You think that how could possibly anyone want you? And this is what creates this trauma bonds, but this is what also creates this separation of yourself, because you start to blame you. In that, you try harder, try to overgive, you try to silence your needs, you abandon yourself, you want to get back to how this relationship was, because all you need is for them to tell you that they love you, that everything is going to be okay, and that this pain that you have inside of you is going to go. But the relief that you're searching is not love. This is reinforcement to a cycle that you are in. It's an addiction cycle. And when you see it for what it really is, because that is the truth. Remember how I was saying at the beginning of this video about Pavlov's dogs being conditioned to receive food, to a stimulus, to a sound stimulus? That's what's going on here. When they pull back, when they don't have sex with you, when you start feeling like this, you're then conditioned to want them harder. Break that cycle. You need to see it neurologically what is going on here. This is a psychological test. This whole relationship, this whole sex and intimacy is all a psychological test, because all it's doing is serving them. It's going to make them feel good about themselves. That's all this is. So what you do, how do How do you reclaim your power? How do you get over this? First of all, when this person is withdrawing, and with anybody, whether it's a narcissist or not, don't chase. Let them withdraw. Let them just get on with it. Because this doesn't prove your worth. This doesn't prove how attractive, how desirable you actually are. If you try to earn the love that is being withheld from you, what you're doing is you're reinforcing that control. Don't do it, because you're digging yourself a bigger grave. What you need to do is bring the focus back onto you. And what I would say is about reconnecting to your body, reconnect to yourself, center yourself. You need to separate intimacy from approval. Okay, that's the biggest thing that you need to kind of look at this, is that the rejection is not a reflection of you, of your beauty, of your desire, of who you are. Okay, if you take notes of this video, because honestly, you need to see it for what it really is. Okay, and once you do, this will really help you to understand, because once you understand what is going on here, okay, this will make it easier for you then to move forward and make informed decisions for you. You also need to grieve. You need to grieve the fantasy of who they never were. They never were that. So once you understand that this person was just someone who was broken, someone who thought that they could be in a relationship, but they can't be. They can't give you what you need. You can give them what they need, but they can't give you what you need. So there's no reciprocation here, and it's not fair on you. So what I want you to remember, my friends, is that when the narcissist stops having sex with you, it reveals something very vital, that you were never connected with them. They were only consuming you. Instead of asking, why don't they want me? It's not about that. Ask yourself, why am I tolerating someone doing this to me? So my friends, I really hope that this video helps. I really hope that this helps you to understand these dynamics a lot better. If you would like to work with me, please see the description box below, because I do have availability. If you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.